You do it because you want to show I'm reading, but then it's like you don't, because then you would buy a real book. So yeah, well, I noticed that the other day, and I was just thinking, that's actually a common thing people have, but it's pretty stupid if you think about it.
Yeah, could be, but probably no idea. Maybe it's just for. Maybe that's the purpose.
The purpose is to look stupid, you mean? Have you ever bought something that you liked?
Yeah.
Why did you buy it?
Because I liked it.
Yeah, but did you feel a function, or was it more like, it looks nice, I'm gonna buy it because it looks nice?
It depends, but for me, could be both.
Okay.
And depends on what product. But normally both things I consider when I buy something.
Would you say that a product has to either fill a function or that it has to just look nice for the sake of looking nice? Or would you say those are the two things any product has?
I would say it's better if they have both. But sometimes, well, in my case, if I'm choosing decoration stuff, maybe it's not going to have a functionality, but it's going to be a decor piece. That's the reason. If it looks nice and it's a good price, I consider to buy something.
So let me ask you this. What would you think of a knife that doesn't cut?
I would think that that's for butter.
Butter knife?
A butter knife.
A hammer that you can't hammer with?
I would think that's for a judge.
Would you say that it's trash, that you would throw it away because you can't use it?
Yes, of course.
Or would you put a hammer or a screwdriver on the shelf for decoration?
I'm a weirdo, so you can't ask me these things because probably I would say yeah.
The point is for me, I'm trying to make, is that what would you do with a book that you can't read?
I would storage it. I would, but I wouldn't have it near me, maybe.
Would you consider it trash?
A book?
A book that you can't read. What would you do with a book you can't read?
I would donate the book.
But no one is going to be able to read it. Okay, whatever. My point is that how I categorize things is at least that there's two categories. One is functional, one is nice or decorative. And let's take a sculpture. That's purely decorative, right?
Okay.
Okay, it has no function. Whereas a screwdriver is pure function and not decorative, right? So anything in between is bad because it doesn't fill a function and it's not decorative. But anything that is in both is really good because it fills a function and it looks nice. So for me, anything that is in between, I consider trash. Because what would you do with it?
That's a good question.
And that brings me on to what I saw the other day. Books for decoration.
Books for decoration?
Purely decorative books.
Okay. Like Decor?
They're purely for decoration. You put it on the table and it's just supposed to look, quote, nice.
But books look nice.
Don't they? But why does a book look nice? What is it that looks with a book? Well,
for example, I would use a book to decorate my salon or sala or my, I forget the word in English for sala.
Living room.
Living room, thank you. So I will use, for example, the best photographs from National Geographic.
Okay.
And I would have it in my centerpiece because I would like to scan through it and watch or see the pictures.
But would you put Tolstoy book for decoration?
I wouldn't say decoration, but it would be on my bookshelf, yes, because it's a classic.
Yeah, but why is it on your bookshelf?
Because you don't put books in a fridge.
But it's on your bookshelf because you read it.
Oh, okay, yes.
For me, decorative books serves no purpose because it doesn't look nice. A book, how can a book look nice? I mean, besides it being a decorative book, I'm just taking any book, the Bible, for example. It doesn't look nice. It's just, but people know what it is. Therefore, it has a decorative purpose, right?
Okay.
Any book has a decorative purpose because people know what it is. And we associate reading books with, well...
With what?
With intelligence, status, curiosity, academia, whatever.
Okay.
Books generally has a positive annotation to it. Would you agree?
Yeah.
It's actually, how I see it, is the only piece of object you can have in your home that can be purely messy. Like it can be anywhere and no one will think it looks messy. It can be anywhere. You can have books stacked on the floor, table, anywhere, and no one will look. Oh, it looks messy with all these books here.
Yes, you're right. I know people. Well, not directly, but not that they were my acquaintances. But I know people that they are like, how to say, when they read a lot, like bookworms.
Exactly.
So they read a lot, and then they just happen to have like piles of books in their house, like the corner of their living room, sometimes in the bathroom and hallway. Like sometimes their bookshelves are not enough.
Yeah.
So yes, but would you consider someone that reads that much, that is using their books as decorative purposes?
I mean, in that case, it's okay because they actually use the books. They are reading them.
Okay.
So the decorative purpose is just a bonus in that case.
Okay.
But people who don't read books and put it as decoration try to represent that they do read, but they don't because they bought a book that is made for decoration.
So they're faking, well, I can't say faking intelligence, but they are faking something that they are.
Because why otherwise would you put a book for decoration if you don't read?
Pure pretension.
And if you read, why buy a book for decoration? Why not buy a real book?
Exactly.
It's an oxymoron.
It is. And now that you mentioned it, I've seen it. And actually, there's boxes that look like books, but they have no pages, no paper. It's just pure
they don't even have text.
Box.
And there's some books that don't even have text.
Exactly. Like they're empty shells, and they have just the covers to look nice. Yes.
But it's completely pointless.
It is.
And you do it because you want to show I'm reading. But then it's like you don't, because then you would buy a real book. So yeah, well, I noticed that the other day and I was just thinking, that's actually a common thing people have. But it's pretty stupid if you think about it.
Yeah, could be. But probably, no idea. Maybe it's just maybe that's the purpose.
The purpose is to look stupid, you mean? No.
Well, not the purpose to look stupid, but the purpose is literally to use a book as a decoration, not as a, what would you say? Not as something that you have because you are reading.
But why a book?
Not for an activity.
But why would you put a book for decoration?
Well, that's an interesting question. I really don't know.
The only purpose is because it's a book. It looks like a book. So when you put it for decoration, what people will think, because what we think about books and how we associate books. So buying a book for decoration is, well, it looks nice because it looks like a book.
Yes.
And if it looks like a book, people will think it's a real book, and they will think, oh, so you have a book, lots of books you read, or there's a reading association to this place or home, but then there's not because they're decorative. Whatever.
No, I think you are a good observer. And as you can see, we humans, we are developing a mindset where instead of trying to acquire knowledge, we are just pretending that we are acquiring knowledge. So because now it's fake it till you make it. So maybe that's the thing nowadays.
Is it kind of the same as people saying, oh, you have to do your own research. Don't believe when anyone's telling you do your own research. But it's like, no, that's a really stupid advice.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course. Oh, no. To anyone listening, do not do your own research. Trust real research, because they're the ones who know how it works. You should always check your sources. That's the most important thing. Always check your sources. Okay, so let me just rephrase. The reason why I asked about all these books is because personally to me, it looks fucking ridiculous. Put a book that its only purpose is to be decorative, but it's in the category I defined earlier, which was function, 0, decoration, only because it's annotated with a book, which means that it has to be connected to some type of reading. But you are not. It's not. We can dispel that because you are not reading, because then you buy a real book. So it doesn't fill decorative purpose actually either. So a decorative book is in the category in the middle, which I consider trash.
Oh, this is a controversial
If you have a decorative book at home, throw it out. Buy a real one and read it. And then you can put it on the table.
And then decorate your house with the book you already read.
And then when someone sees it, you can say, yeah, I read it. See? Well, I mean, yes.
Okay, but question.
Yes.
There are some books that actually have no important information. Mostly like...
there are many books like that.
So what can we do with that? I think we can use those as piles of decor.
You mean books that contain no valuable information?
Yeah.
Question. If a book contains no valuable information, should it be a book? Should it be a book at all if it contains nothing of value?
But who are we to judge that?
Well, no, of course we're not.
That's subjective.
But if everyone on the planet would say this book serves no purpose, why even bother having it as a book? We'll just burn it. Okay, let me think. Let me let me ask you this. What is a sculpture?
Sculpture. From Latin, sculpturare.
Yes.
I'm just making that up. I actually don't know the etymology of the word, but for sure it comes from Latin.
For sure they said something like that. Sculpturare.
Scupulate, lutus, something.
Noun. Middle English, from Latin sculptura, from sculptus, past participle of sculpere to carve, alteration of scalpere to scratch, carve.
What is it? What's a sculpture?
Sculpture is a three-dimensional object representative or as a representation of an abstract thought.
Exactly. A sculpture is it only contains an emotion, expression, or idea. It's a vessel that carries a deeper meaning. The point with a sculpture is only to represent a feeling, an emotion, experience, whatever that the artist had or felt. They felt like they feel or see something that they cannot express in another way. They need an object to materialize it to. And they make a sculpture. The sculpture's purpose is only to reflect whatever the artist felt or thought or their description of something. It's the only purpose of a sculpture.
Okay.
What is a book?
But question.
Okay.
Question. What if the thought or the idea of the person that created that sculpture is actually of no value?
Like?
I don't know. But this isn't it subjective? Every time someone says a sculpture is you're gonna react to their sculpture of what you perceive, not necessarily what the person, the creator of the sculpture tried to evoke. Probably, let's say, someone that made a sculpture to represent the oppression of, I don't know, a group of some group. Okay, that was the main message for that sculpture, and it represents something that is linked to the culture of the person that created that sculpture.
Okay.
Then me, as the person that is gonna observe and see that three-dimensional representation of the abstract and the idea and sentiments of this other person, meaning artist, I see that piece or that sculpture, and then I feel nothing. I feel no connection. I'm not relatable. How to say relatable?
Okay, you can't relate to it.
I can't relate to that, etc., etc. So for me, it's like, well, I see a piece of garbage.
Okay.
That's what it represents to me. But who is right here? Me, my observation, how I felt watching or seeing that sculpture, or the intention of the person that created.
Well,
I'm asking this because what if the books that you refer to actually have some of the same? You know what I mean?
Yes, but I mean, okay, I know what you mean. But even if you would consider a sculpture that you cannot understand or relate to, like trash, it's not because of some absence of function. It's more just like you can relate to it. But something that has a purpose or a supposed function that you cannot use it for, it's in the other category. That one, to be regarded as decorative, for me, is kind of pointless. What I mean is just like if you have a sculpture, its only purpose is to be some kind of decorative. So it has to do all with how you relate to it. But if you have a microwave or whatever, which has a function, you only use it for that specific function. The decorative is only a plus.
Okay.
If it cannot fill that function, it doesn't matter how you relate to it. It's still, you can't use it for what it's supposed to do. So, I mean, maybe there's some people who find useless junk or things that don't work properly functional. Maybe there are people who can see beauty in that and relate to that and use it. I mean, okay, fine. I can understand that. I mean, yeah, sure.
Beauty is subjective. subjective.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it is.
And what is trash for
I'll
others
just share my opinion, by the way.
Is treasure for all.
Yes.
So who are we to trash the trash? And anything else you would like to rant about?
I mean, I see a lot of like stupid products that I don't understand. Why is this a thing?
That's a good question. But maybe it's better, what would you say, content for our next episode.
Okay.
Thanks for watching. Kudos.
Bye-bye. Take it easy.